Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Amazing Shinsengumi, Heroes in Love. We are now on the extras for Sanosuke Harada, having finished all 3 of his endings. Man, this thing is short. I'm guessing all the guys are going to have the same length story and similar quality writing, I suppose. Well, it'll be a quick read-through then. Let's see how this sequel goes. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Epilogue. I have a place I want to come home to. Even though I felt like I was in the palm of his hand, Sanosuke and I were getting along. Enough that the people around us were envious. More than that, they were shocked. Our sweet relationship was moving forward. That's why. I never would have thought he would ever try to cheat on me. He wouldn't. This is going to be another misunderstanding.
Chizuru, I'm home.
Eee! Someone hugged me from behind. I couldn't help but scream. Sanosuke! Who did you think it was? Don't scare me like that. I lifted my head and tried to protest, but to my surprise he had a serious look on his face.
Oh, I just came back from my patrol. Today we had to arrest someone. It was really tough.
He quietly whispered as his arms embraced me tightly.
So, can you give me a reward?
He took my hand and kissed it. He whispered into my ear. But I still have things to do.
You can finish it later. I told the others you'd be busy in your room for a while.
Oh, he'll be keeping me busy in the room, huh? Don't tell people stuff like that! I was embarrassed and shouted. I was sure everyone knew we were in an intimate relationship, but I didn't want them to know what we were doing and when we were doing it.
What? That way no one will disrupt us. We can take our time, right? There might be some people who would come to disturb us, but I'd be sure to get the job done.
Oh my god. Did you have to say that? Stop making these strange decisions. It would cause a lot of trouble for me.
You don't want to do it?
I let out a sigh after hearing his plea. I thought Sanosuke was really unfair when he tried to suck up to me like that. No, I didn't say that. I did my best to whisper that as my voice became silent. It was the same as the time after the Ikedaya incident. After the battle, Sanosuke kept trying to make me comfort him. Try to force me to comfort him. I thought I was ready for anything, but...
How should I say this? After risking my life in battle, I get so stirred up I can't hold myself back anymore.
He cheerfully spoke. I suddenly felt like punching him.
When a man feels danger, he starts to lust for things. It's an instinct to make offspring.
You need to stop this X-rated conversation right now!
Well, it was just a joke. But then again, it's true I feel like doing it whenever I come back safe and sound.
He smiled nonchalantly as he scratched his head.
Well, I always felt alive when I was fighting on the battlefield, but now... I feel so alive whenever I touch you like this.
He hugged me softly, as if he was touching something fragile. He kissed my forehead lightly. He said all those things, and this was how he handled me. There was no way I could be angry with him. I thought he was so unfair. Even so, I loved that part of him as well. I continued feeling that way until the next day.
Sorry. It might not be fair to you, but there's a girl I have to bring here no matter what.
Sanosuke kneeled on the floor and bowed his head. My head was completely blank. You mean the one that you saved and, you're helping her to get out of the brothel? Adopt, you say? You're bringing her here?
Well... If you're against it, I'll take her somewhere else.
Sanosuke sounded embarrassed. However, the fact that he was bringing someone here didn't change. He was bringing someone here. Was he paying to bail out a geisha? He wasn't talking about adopting that girl without any relatives, was he? Probably.
Well, this is the last time I'll ever do it. The situation suddenly changed, but I didn't want to abandon her.
My chest tightened after hearing how serious he was. It hurts a lot, and I'm sad, but for some reason the tears wouldn't come.
She has a kid as well.
A kid? I couldn't believe my ears and shouted without thinking. Does that mean it's his? My thoughts became all mixed up, and I couldn't think straight.
It would be hard taking everyone in, but I wanted to look after that kid at least.
His words sounded so distant.
Will you let me?
He timidly asked my opinion. I had no right to refuse his request. We weren't married or anything, and it was obvious a man should take care of the mother of his kids. Don't be making these assumptions on your own, Chizuru. I heard that the base was initially built to protect women. Still, Sanosuke might not pressure me anymore if I told him no. Then again, he went this far to tell me. I was sure his relationship would continue even if he didn't bring her here. I couldn't just deny him after he got on his knees to beg me. If you're that insistent... I reluctantly agreed, and he quickly smiled at me. After seeing his expression, I suddenly regretted my decision. I shouldn't have said that. Even if it made him sad, I didn't want to see Sanosuke smile for some other girl.
All right then, I'll go get her right now. I felt like playing with her too.
Well, don't say that to me! Sanosuke didn't hesitate, which hurt even more.
Do you want to come with me to see her?
Huh?
I'll introduce you to her. She is a really cute girl. We're all going to live together from now on, so let's get along.
Sanosuke grabbed my hand and pulled me along. There was no way I could get along with her. I didn't want to meet her. Even though that's how I felt, I couldn't tell Sanosuke because he was so happy.
Oh, that's right. Do you think it would be alright if I gave her some of today's leftovers? I want to give her some food.
Oh, sure. I felt even more depressed. I put some grilled fish, rice, and miso soup on a tray and handed it to him. He was overjoyed. I was feeling sad as I tried to follow him out of the base. How do you know that girl? It might have hurt me more, but I couldn't stand not knowing more about her.
Oh, I think it was after I rushed into the fire. I met her when I was going home.
After the fire? I remembered what he said about feeling a sense of life-threatening danger. That's how they got together? He even told me he feels so alive when he's touching me. That's what he said.
I'm sure it was around here.
Sanosuke was looking around restlessly and entered an alley. He thought the leftovers were luxurious. Maybe she was having a hard time living. If that was true, then I understood why he couldn't leave her alone. If that were the reason, it would make me feel a little better.
Oh, there she is.
I raised my head in response to Sanosuke's words. However, there was no one in sight.
Look. She's cute, right?
Is it a cat? My eyes followed Sanosuke's eyes. I saw a cat feeding her 3 kittens milk. A cat? I suddenly lost all strength and fell to the floor.
Yeah. Are you not a cat person? You looked like you were having a hard time.
More importantly, you never told me she was a cat.
Huh? Didn't I tell you about the cat and her kids?
Sanosuke was surprised. Now that he brought it up, it felt like he did. However, I thought you were just gossiping. There was a lot of time in between you asking me to take her in and that. I didn't think those 2 conversations were linked. It's because you were silent and thinking for a long time. I was fixated on you and forgot about it.
Oh, it took me a while to find the courage to ask you. Oh, but what were you thinking of if you didn't think she was a cat?
He curiously asked me, and I was at a loss for words. I looked at the tray Sanosuke was holding as he finally figured it out.
Well, I thought it was strange. This is quite a feast for a little kitten. I was sure you were acting strange because of how much you prepared.
If you thought it was weird, I wish you would have told me sooner. The way you said it was so misleading. It was my fault for not asking, but I made that excuse.
I didn't mean to, but that kind of misunderstanding is a little harsh. You don't trust me. I already decided a long time ago you're the only girl for me.
Me too. I wanted to believe that, but...
You are right. Sorry I made you worry like that.
I was about to cry, but Sanosuke caressed my head and gently smiled. Why are you smiling?
Oh, sorry. Even though it was a misunderstanding, I was happy you worried about me so much.
That blush again.
Not to mention you accepted the idea it was another girl and didn't attack me. You're so composed. I feel like I've fallen in love with you all over again.
I'm not that composed. I was full of jealousy. I didn't even want to meet the girl.
I'm happy you were jealous like that. Your face is so cute like that too. It feels like you really love me.
He put his lips on my cheek. I didn't feel like fighting anymore. Sanosuke gave the mother the grilled fish, rice, and miso soup. Oh, I got another CG for this one too. She looked really happy eating after she was done feeding her kids. Sanosuke sat down and smiled as he watched over them.
I never thought I would have ever had a chance to keep a pet.
He whispered his words. He couldn't take his eyes off the cats. He's looking at me in the picture.
It would be trouble taking care of them on my own, and I was afraid of hurting them. But most of all, I didn't think someone who could die any day could be responsible enough for a pet. A lot of my comrades don't even want to have families.
You can't leave it to me because I'm at the base with you. If something were ever to happen to Sanosuke, I don't want to think about it. Still, I was a little happy the person he would entrust things to is me. That was how I felt.
Well, I'm not trying to push the responsibility onto you. I already have one person I can't leave behind. I have a place I want to come home to as well. Our household just got bigger is all. I don't think anything will change.
He stood up and looked straight at me. The person he didn't want to leave behind. The place he wanted to come home to. If I was that important to Sanosuke, there could be no greater joy than the happiness I was feeling.
Oh, but maybe I was wrong.
He suddenly changed his mind, which shocked me.
I guess it will change. The more things I want to cherish means there's more reasons for me to live on. I'll kill and continue to survive. I'm sure I'll just become stronger.
Sanosuke smiled at me. I leapt into his chest with all my might.
You're unusually forward today, clinging to me of your own accord.
He sounded surprised and hugged me tightly in return.
For some reason or another, I've always wanted to have a household of my own.
That mean we're gonna have kids?
I was so happy knowing you were waiting for me to come back. Then again, I like things when they're livelier. Having a big family is great.
Huh?
Will you help me make one?
Does that mean... I trembled after hearing Sanosuke's words. Are you talking about the cats again? Or are you talking about another girl? No, he's talking about kids, you silly girl. I was worried.
I wonder. Maybe a girl?
What? Or maybe a boy.
A really cute girl with a face you just have to hug. That kind of girl would be nice.
Sanosuke? He was really outspoken this time, and I was on the brink of tears again. Sanosuke started laughing after seeing my face.
If she looked like you, I could think of her as a cutie pie.
He held my nose and laughed as if he was joking. Huh? I didn't understand and tilted my head.
Then again, a boy would be good too, one that resembles me.
Oh, huh? I finally realized what he was talking about. About time.
We don't have to start anytime soon. I still want to cherish our time together. At any rate, it'll happen someday. Keep it in the back of your mind, okay?
Okay. I was dumbfounded and replied without thinking. Sanosuke looked satisfied after hearing my answer. It seemed surreal that I was just in a deep pool of despair. Only Sanosuke could make me this happy. With just one promise.
That way, I can live comfortably with the other guys.
Live comfortably? You're already doing that, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I mean, you don't like being seen when you do things together.
Of course I don't. We normally hugged in front of other people, but I was scared of what else he wanted to do in public. Oh, come on. You wouldn't go that far in public.
You could also finally stop helping the others and just cook and clean for me. That sure sounds great. I might actually consider it. That way the other guys wouldn't have a chance to put their hands on you. In any case, adultery is a grave sin.
He sounded really pleased with himself. You're actually really possessive, aren't you, Sanosuke? He was possessive in the very beginning. Am I only just realizing that now?
Now that you bring it up, maybe I am. I didn't even realize it.
Sanosuke nodded his head. How did you not realize it? You got mad every time a guy even talked to me when I was just beginning to live with you.
I guess I'd never gotten that attached to anyone else before. You better take responsibility for changing me so much.
Responsibility?
In exchange for never looking at other women, you'll stay by my side and satisfy me. In exchange for never getting close to other men, I'll stay by your side.
He put his hand on the alleyway wall and approached me. My back was to the wall. I couldn't escape. I accepted his kiss. Sanosuke put his hand on my chest. I became frantic and squealed. The cat cried as well and came closer to Sanosuke's foot. Our eyes were fixated on each other. Unable to move, Sanosuke started talking.
We'll continue this after we bring the little ones home.
He picked up the mama cat. I grabbed the kittens and nodded. I wondered when we would start building our household. I daydreamed about waiting with the kittens for Sanosuke to return. It was a lovely thought. Oh, that was cute. Why was the sequel better than the whole story to me? It was longer than most chapters too, actually. Alright, well, let's go dive right into the date scenario. So we can make this one video. Dating a captain. I only have eyes for you.
Let's go out into the town when I have some free time.
Which was never. I wasn't sure if Sanosuke's invitation was serious or not. It did make my heart pound, though. For one reason or another, he couldn't leave the base very often. Sanosuke seemed seriously bored. He clearly couldn't bear it any longer, and told me we were going outside. He kind of forced me into it, but we headed out into town together. Is this okay? What about your job? He forcibly led me by the hand. I followed his fast pace.
It's fine, it's fine. Everyone is really skilled, so even if I'm not around, they'll get the job done.
Sanosuke sounded happy. Don't come to me if Soji or Toshizo get mad at you. Suddenly his feet stopped. He let my hand go and stayed silent. He then turned around.
You don't want to go out with me that badly?
I was startled by his sullen tone. That's not what I...
I guess I was the only one looking forward to it. You don't care about having fun with me.
I quickly tried to defend myself, but he was depressed. He wouldn't listen to me. That's not true at all. I was really looking forward to it too. I put my hands together and firmly defended myself. Sanosuke had a big smile on his face. Yeah, he was teasing.
I'm glad. Then there's no problem, right?
It feels like I just got tricked. I was amazed by his quick recovery. I didn't feel like saying anything else. Maybe I should have warned him that skipping out on work wasn't good, but I was really looking forward to going out with Sanosuke. I was glad he brought me with him.
Okay, where should we go? We could just wander around, but since we're finally on a date, shall we try some sweets? There's a place around here in the Gion district. Their specialty is brown sugar sweets. I wanted to go there at least once with you.
You like sweet things, don't you, Sanosuke? I was happy knowing another side to him, but my joy was momentary.
Well, I don't hate them. I thought girls like those kind of things. Was I wrong?
No. I love sweets. I wasn't sure how I felt after seeing Sanosuke smile.
Really? If there's anything else you like, or somewhere you want to go, feel free to tell me.
It seems like he's used to this kind of thing. Does he go on dates often? Well, he sees girls often. There were many tea houses in the Gion district. The street was bustling with commoners. Men cheerfully greeted people, and women were restless and pulled their sleeves back.
Sorry, but I have a date with me today. Can you leave us alone?
Sanosuke held my shoulder and answered nonchalantly. We were asked if we wanted to go to a different tea house, but Sanosuke just brushed them off. He wasn't annoyed at all. Sanosuke seemed very reliable with that kind of attitude. It's become rather busy.
This part of town is essentially a red light district. It's different from Shimbara because you can have lighthearted fun here too.
He chuckled at my words. The cafe he ended up taking me to was really delicious. The sweets were chewy and cold. The brown sugar sauce was really sweet too. I could have eaten this for the rest of my life. I smiled and Sanosuke happily stared at me.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. You can have as many servings as you'd like.
You're not going to have another serving?
No, I'm fine. For starters, I just wanted to see your smiling face.
He looked satisfied, and I blushed without thinking. Did you used to go to the red light district often? I tried to hide my embarrassment by asking him the question I'd had earlier.
Uh-huh. What's wrong all of a sudden?
Sanosuke was confused and smiled awkwardly.
Are you still worried about the time I was at the geisha house? I told you I didn't do anything that could promise our relationship.
I know that, but you seem familiar with this place, so I thought you might have come here often. He said it was a long time since he heard the beckoning voices, or so-and-so must be lonely. He kept saying those things.
Oh, well, I came here from time to time. I came with my troops and we made a ruckus. Shimbara was always closer after all. Lots of people come to the red light district to have parties and have meetings, you know. They don't only come here for one thing.
I know that, but Playing instruments, putting on a show, and talking to guests were all part of a geisha's job. I heard people sometimes came for meetings and serious discussions. I also heard that a lot of other stuff happened here as well.
Well, I know a lot of people here, but I don't nearly have enough money to come here alone.
He answered smoothly. His words were believable, but was that really the truth? I continued staring at him while I racked my brain. Sanosuke let out a light sigh.
Do you really believe me? You look like you still doubt me. Or am I the one who can't believe in you?
Huh? Of course I believe you. It's just...
Just?
I instinctively hung my head down, and Sanosuke continued to stare at me. Soji once told me that there would be a high probability you would go there.
That jerk. He really told you that?
Oh, no, when we went out searching for you, he suggested we try and go there. Soji already didn't think much of Sanosuke, but it sounded like he was insulting him. I tried to take back what I had just said.
You don't have to worry about it. I'm sure he's just telling you about some rumor he heard.
He's ignoring the truth?
Well, yeah.
If that was true, then it made me even more curious. Then, where did you have fun with your previous partners? I broke the ice just like that. Sanosuke's eyes opened up wide. Maybe I'm being a little too direct. But I really do want to know.
Wait, why do you think I was just having fun with them?
Huh? I mean...
Even though I look like this, I'm a really serious guy, you know.
He half smiled. I knew that, but... I was worried he was messing around with me in the beginning, but he wasn't. He cherished me enough, so... I never had to worry about him cheating on me.
Well, I went out with some old acquaintances when I was out on patrol a few times. That's normal though, right?
Yeah, I guess. His words didn't comfort me. They actually hurt me. I wasn't very happy that he'd had fun with other girls. If he'd had a serious relationship with a normal girl and not some courtesan, then there might have been some other girls like me that he cherished as well. He might have even bought them to this very same cafe. The thought of that really hurt me.
What's wrong? Why are you so depressed all of a sudden?
Sanosuke was confused at my reaction to his words.
Were you that disappointed hearing I took my relationship seriously? Do you think I'm boring if I'm not a playboy?
He asked me in a serious tone. No, it's not like that.
Then what?
I was wondering if you took other girls out just like this too. I spoke softly while I was in a bad mood. He looked surprised but quickly started laughing.
Oh, that's what you were worried about.
What is that supposed to mean? I got angry at his response and questioned him further.
I mean, in other words, you're jealous, right, Chizuru?
He hit the bullseye. My face became red. That's not true.
I
was flustered and tried to defend myself, but Sanosuke just smiled at me. The past. It has nothing to do with me anyway. I looked away as I declared my feelings. That's right, he's not cheating on me. It's all in the past. I guess it's inevitable I'd be jealous. I was talking to myself. I didn't want him to think I was annoying or a burden for asking about the past. It was best if I stopped worrying about it.
Shall we go back?
Huh? Okay. I stood up. Sanosuke's words somehow felt cold. I was shocked as I followed him outside. He didn't say anything even after we left the cafe. He didn't even turn around. He just continued walking quickly. What should I do? He looks like he's in a bad mood. I wondered if he was annoyed because I kept asking about other women during our date. I wanted to defend myself, but it looked like he would just reject me. I couldn't say a word. After we returned, Sanosuke was taken to Toshizo after Soji caught him. I felt bad for him because he was probably strongly reprimanded, but he'd known this would happen. He'd reaped what he'd sowed. Nevertheless, I was still worried because we hadn't had a proper talk. I finished my chores and finished cooking. I went to Sanosuke's room.
What's up? You don't usually visit me.
He was a little surprised, but he let me in. He didn't seem angry. He acted the same as usual, but... I'm sorry about before.
Huh? If you're talking about how I got scolded, you don't need to worry about it.
I bowed my head and Sanosuke was shocked. That's not what I meant. I asked you all sorts of questions.
What are you talking about?
I mean, how I accused you of going to the red light district a lot. Or how I asked you about the time you spent with other women. I relived my awkward feelings as I said those things a second time. Relived, I meant, sorry.
Oh, I don't think you need to apologize for that.
But it looked like I made you mad.
You thought I was mad? Why did you think that?
I wasn't sure if he was playing dumb or if he was being serious. He was acting like he didn't understand what I was talking about. I mean, it looked like you were in a bad mood.
Oh. Oh, I wasn't mad because you asked me those questions.
Then why?
It was because you said you weren't interested.
Huh?
You said my past relationships had nothing to do with you, right?
That's... I was just trying to hide my embarrassment. I was just saying that for myself. I didn't think he would worry about it so much. I was just embarrassed, that's all. I was confused and gave out an excuse. I didn't tell him it was because he knew what I was thinking that time.
Does that mean you really were jealous?
He whispered into my ear, and I blushed. I quickly nodded my head. Oh, so I'm just gonna go ahead and admit it now.
You're so cute, Chizuru.
As he whispered to me, he put his tongue on my earlobe. A pulsing sensation ran through my body.
That's how it has to be. Well, I can't be the only one who's jealous of you. We have to share our feelings.
He let out a sigh and imprisoned me in his arms. You're jealous too?
Yeah. You're just a cute girl living amongst all these men. There's no way I could stay calm. Soji put on an air of loyalty and seriousness, but he has a bad habit of stealing things.
Really?
Don't get involved with him, okay?
You're really wary of Soji, aren't you?
Well, he's oddly intrigued by you. I'm sure he likes you.
No way.
It's true. All the other men seem to be fond of you as well. I want you to always be with me, but I need to hide our relationship from the others.
Why? I couldn't believe he'd said everyone was fond of me. I think he might just be paranoid, though. Still, I was a little happy he thought of me in that way.
That's why, deep down, I was happy when you asked me all those questions. If you were that interested in my past, it just showed me how much you liked me. That's why I wanted to tell you things that would make you even more jealous. When I saw you worried like that, I couldn't tell you that, though.
That means you were actually teasing me, doesn't it?
I don't know. I wonder.
Sanosuke had a big smile on his face. He entwined his fingers in my hair and kissed the tips.
In any case, I only have eyes for you, Chizuru.
He pushed me down as he spoke. He took off my clothes and kissed my neck, shoulders, and breasts. My body heat rose as I felt his hand on my bare skin.
You're really cute no matter the situation. When you're smiling, angry, or sad. Even when you're flushed with embarrassment. Show me more how cute you are. Show me something only I can see.
As he moved his hand on his lips, my body writhed in pleasure. His movements became even more intense the more I reacted to them. I put my hand around his back. I loved touching him. I not only wanted to be his, I wanted him to be mine as well. From now on until the end of time, he would be mine and mine alone. The stimulus he gave me stopped my thoughts. I desperately wanted to hang on to him. My whole body could feel him. I became one with my beloved. I was so happy. Yeah, seriously, the date scenario and the sequel were both so much better than the main story. And main endings. Is this going to be how it is for all the guys? I guess we'll see. I think I will do Soji next. Yeah, I'll do Soji next because he has me very intrigued after Sanosuke's route here. And I've always liked Soji in every story about the Shinsengumi anyway. So, it's like between Soji and Saito. I have a really hard time deciding between these two in every story because I always love both of them. But you know, I'm really surprised. We really didn't see Saito very much in this story at all. Whereas, well, actually Heisuke either, huh? So there's really not that much interaction between the guys in these routes. That's kind of sad. I like it more when there's more interaction. But these stories are so short. They really should have added so much more in here. Well, anyway, like I said, we'll go ahead and read Soji next. So, tune in soon for that, if you will. I'd love to see you there or in some of my other videos. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, or subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.